Hello and welcome back to another episode where I talk about the characters in my debut novel, The Head, the Heart, and the Air. Now today we're going to talk about Queen Victoria. So Queen Victoria is the mother of Alex, who is our main character, the main POV character. Victoria is her mother. She was a sorceress and married Alex's father. They had Alex and then she was killed brutally by Alex's grandfather Arthur. So Victoria was actually born in the Forbidden Lands. She is my royal who is not from Torien at all. She's born outside in the Forbidden Lands, specifically in the Merlin territory. She is the third born in her family, which is important because she is the daughter of Cassandra. The most powerful Cassandra born in that generation would make her the Titan. She was 84 years old at the time of her death when she was killed. Sorcerers age differently. So even though she was 84, she didn't look older than like 22, 23, because the way sorcerers age is once they hit 17, 18, they stop aging normally. And essentially every 7 to 8 human years is 1 year of aging for them. So she still looked incredibly young when she passed away and was very sad. She has brothers. If you've not read the book, you should stop here because I am going to talk about some spoilers, which you will learn in book 1. So she has 2 older brothers, the Murloc and Morlock, who are twins. Murloc is the nicer of the 2 brothers, and he has the more gentle powers because Merlin powers allow you to have an eclectic mix of the sorcerer powers. Morlock is the more powerful one. He is the firstborn. He's power hungry. He has the aggressive nature that did run in a little bit in their family. Her skills and powers are she's an incredibly powerful sorceress, and that comes from being the youngest and being Cassandra, and the Cassandra line is the youngest is the most powerful. And being a Merlin, she has a lot of variety of powers as well, which is very helpful for her power. And her best powers were she was exceptional in healing and with that potions because she was a very gifted Celtic sorceress as well. So putting those 2 together was amazing because it did allow for her to be very helpful in the human world with healing and that. And that's actually what she does a lot before the books take place. Prior to Alex being born and her having met Edward and that, she actually lived in Torien for decades. She sometimes was in Dayton, sometimes she was at her castle, the Falassen Castle. She did a lot of good for the people and helped them with potions and healing and things like that before Edward was born, and she met him and ended up marrying him and that. She was there when Majestai was born in Dayton, so she got to be there when her nephew was born, and clearly you're going to want the healing sorceress there when you give birth if possible. And so she was very excited to have a nephew. She adored Majestai. She also adored her other nephew, Lugari. She did not get to see him as much as she would have liked, but she was very fond of him as well, and she was very loving and affectionate to both of her nephews because she knew that they needed that love in their lives, and so she made sure that they had that little bit of extra love. What we see of her in book 1 is that she tends to come back occasionally as a ghost, but she doesn't come back as frequently as you would expect. The fact that Alex can see ghosts, and she literally has Daniel following her around pretty much 24/7. The fact that she has this ability and yet we don't see her mother very much was a little bit surprising to people, but it's actually very hard for Victoria because she doesn't want to influence Alex and her decisions in that because Alex has a destiny and she doesn't want to get in the way of that. But it's also just hard for her because she loves her daughter and being away from her is painful, but being with her reminds her of her failure as a mother because she wasn't able to protect her, wasn't able to do what she needed to do to keep her alive and still be there for her. So that's one of the reasons that Victoria tends to stay away. She only comes when she's absolutely needed because she thinks it would also be harder for Alex to be able to see her and not talk to her, not touch her and that. So she stays away, and she does continue to do that for quite a while because it's just better for Alex, she thinks. Whether or not Alex would agree is a different story, but that's what her mother thinks. So that is Victoria. If you have any questions about Victoria, please drop them in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for listening about Queen Victoria, and I hope you guys have a great day and happy reading.